Folks, what is up, everyone? Happy Monday. My name is Dewey, Poke Center TCG, vendor, collector, Pokemon enjoyer. What is up, guys? Currently heading home from my 9 to 5 right now. That's a little bit early. Going through a little tunnel right now, but it's okay. So today, what should I talk to you guys about? Today I want to talk to you guys about opportunity and purpose. So I got into vending about a year ago. I thought about it. It was something I was interested in, the more shows I went to. And by the way, I only went to maybe 3 shows before I started vending. But I watched a lot of content on it, and I thought, is this something I'd be interested in doing? I am someone who always, wanted to start my own business, as many of you watching might have the same, interests. That's why you're watching, right? Either that, or you like Pokemon, or you're just like looking at my face. But I was very interested in starting a business, and I thought, maybe this is the type of business I want to try out. And it's a low cost to start. You basically just need some inventory. You need, a place to sell, and then you need some money. It's a very low barrier of entry to start a business. And some people may think, oh, I need 10,000, I need 20,000, to start. I need to buy this, and this. And just kind of overthinking this whole vending thing. And if you overthink it, you're never gonna start. Trust me. That is kind of the way I am. I kind of like overanalyze things sometimes, and sometimes you get paralysis by analysis, if you guys have heard that before. So basically, back a year ago, I knew myself. You got to know yourself and know like what you can do, what you can't do. I knew that if I put it off too long, then I would never do it. So when the interest got really high, to the point where I was thinking about it all the time, I just said, screw it. Let me just sign up for a show, to put some pressure on me to actually start. So when I signed up, it was like early June. I was looking for shows. I was like, I remember thinking at that time that I wanted to start vending the next year, when I have more like better inventory, or look up more videos on how to vend so I can do this right and not make a mistake. But one day I just said, screw it. I'm just gonna find a show, sign up, and see if I can actually get in. So I looked around the Bay Area, around where I lived. There were no shows that had openings. Like, it was very hard to get a vendor table. So I basically just Googled card shows in the Bay Area, and it showed me like card shows in the next month or 2 that were scheduled. And I saw this one show. It still had an opening. It was in Monterey, California, and it was hosted by the Cards and More Tour. I think that's what the name of the organizer was. It's a nationally known organization. So I was like, they sound like a very good organizers. I see their name all over all the time on like all the YouTube videos. Some of the vendor POVs are at some of their shows. So I'm like, okay, I think it is a good organizer, and yeah, screw it. Let's give it a shot. So the table fee was very cheap back then. It was like $130 for a table, and this was like an 8-foot table. And I was like, okay, yeah, that sounds cool. So I signed up. I put my name, I signed up. And then I was talking to my friend Emerson, who was starting to get into Pokemon too. And I was like, hey, you want to try this out with me? Because I kind of didn't want to do it alone. And he said he would try it, but he didn't have that much inventory. And I basically just tried to plan it out for both of us. I was like, okay, how about this? we both try to get 3K of inventory for the show. I think that should be enough. If we sell maybe 10% of that 3K, we basically make up the travel and the table fees, right? Like the gas too, about $300. And he was like, all right. So he had a lot of like binder cards, I guess, because he was collecting for a little bit. He was buying like singles. And I had a lot of slabs. Like slabs I won from like online raffles and stuff like that. It's a terrible way to gamble, so I wouldn't recommend joining online raffles for this, because technically you lose more than you win. But I was lucky enough to go on a good win streak, so I had a pretty good slab collection, and I also bought some too at shows. But yeah, basically have a number in mind of the value of inventory you want to have for your show, and then think about how much money you think you'll spend, you know, buying, because the advantage of vendors is that they're able to buy at a percentage, just because, you know, they bought the table, you know, they were early, they're there, and basically they're doing all this work. So just to make that extra 20% is good for vendors. They're like, okay, let's try this out. Maybe some crazy cards will come. And then the things I had to look up were, you know, you had to get a reseller's license, which you can get online. CD, FTA, I think. You just sign up, and then you have to report like what your sales are, I think. So I did that like the night before the show, because I was like, oh, what did they check? And then I don't want to get fined and stuff. So I try to be as thorough as I could. And then I had to look up like what kind of apps do vendors use to check comps, because you need to know like the value of the cards before you can, you know, make offers and also sell your stuff. You have to also know how to price your inventory. So I was getting asked this at my first show. I remember like other customers are asking, oh, what app are you using, stuff like that. So I used 2 apps at the time. I did TCG Player. Actually 3 apps. I did TCG Player for vintage cards, because you're able to look up like the lowest listed, last sold, and then you can also change the different conditions, and they can show you what's been sold in those conditions. For more modern cards, I used the Collector app, and I basically played like the annual subscription for unlimited scans. So the thing about vending is you have to be fast. The faster you are, the more deals you get done. If someone's at your table all day, then you're just gonna miss out on potential opportunities of other people. Because if you've ever been to a show, if a table is super crowded, you're just gonna skip on to the next table, right? So you want to be as fast as you can, have the deals move as fast as you can. So I like to do easy deals. If it's very complicated, I either pass or just move on if it's not worth the time. And the more vending shows you do, the more you'll understand this concept. So yeah, back to the first show. Basically, days leading up to the show, I only gave myself like a month to prepare, basically. So I had to order my display cases, and I looked up what cases that vendors usually use. I saw that people like to use like those bulletin board things that you put on the table. I didn't really like that because it kind of looked ugly to me. So I ended up ordering a Zion case, a horizontal one, because I didn't have that much inventory, so I didn't want to take up more space on the table. So I got the horizontal one. If you're planning to do more vending, I would suggest getting the vertical Zion cases so you can fit more in your table, because you will pick up inventory and you will run out of space. So it helps you save space. I still use the same case that I did. I just turn it, but it's just a weird, like, I have to open it from the side type thing. I mean, I could always get a new acrylic glass, but that costs more money, and that money can go towards buying more Pokemon. So I haven't done it yet, but it's cool. What else? This is turning into like a how to vend video, basically how to start out. So yeah, you got your basic apps, and then at the time there was no card ladder. Nowadays people use card ladder, which is like $200 a month as a subscription for unlimited scans, and that has been great. But that only started like the end of last year. People really started getting into using card ladder. Before that, I was using Alt. I was basically just using Alt, and back then Alt was a better app because they updated more frequently. But since they stopped updating more frequently, a lot of people only use it to check for like verified sales. Like if it shows up on Alt, that means it's verified and paid out sale. You don't want to make a comp based on something that just sold but wasn't paid out, because that happens more often than not. Like an auction ends and it's like all-time high, but then, you know, the buyer can always pull out and not pay, you know, and that's crazy. So yeah, look out for that. Make sure you don't get scammed by that for people selling to you too. Make sure you have verified sales. And yeah, just basically a lesson for in everything, not just Pokemon vending, but in anything in life. Just start. The hardest part of any journey is the first step. So you gotta you have the courage to take the first step. You know, if you fail, you fail, but at least you tried. You know what I mean? It's like me making this content. I started on day one. I was like, you know, I'm just gonna turn on the camera, just start talking. And look at me, I'm on day 7. By the way, this is day 7, video number 7. Trying to post every day. This seems like it's turning into like more of a vlog than anything else, but hopefully you guys just have me in the background, you know, while you're working out or while you're driving, because this is not a pretty sight to look at. Don't be watching me the entire time, you know, just listen to what I gotta say. But anyway, opportunity, take advantage of the opportunity. When you're very interested in something, strike while it's hot, because in any case of all humans, we lose interest like the next day type thing. So strike while it's hot and you'll be glad you did. The next point I want to go over is purpose. So I vended because I basically want to build a business. I want to see if I can build a business on my own and not use any outside money, only the money I put in the beginning. So since day one, I've only used the money I put in, or the money from the sales of the collection I set aside for the business in general. So I'm proud to say that, able to say that, and I built from basically a 5K collection, 2K cash, up to, I think right now it's 73,000. It's about maybe 60,000 value inventory and about 13,000 in cash. So it's been pretty good, but it's been a grind. Like, I spent a lot of money on tables this whole year. If I didn't have to do that, I'd be up a lot more, but it is the price of doing business, the cost of doing business. So just remember that. Always set aside money for future tables. If you're planning to do this more frequently, make sure you book tables a month, 2 months, maybe sometimes 3 months in advance if it's a really good show. And just to reiterate, if you're in the Bay Area, the good shows are East Bay Card Show, if you can get in. If you can't, make friends with other vendors who usually do the show, and maybe they can help you get in. So that is a hack to get in. Until you're off the wait list, and then you get the organizer's number. And then you can start texting them directly that you want certain tables. But it has to be like 2 or 3 months in advance. East Bay is a good one. HypeCon I didn't like at first because they put me in a worse spot. But HypeCon has been getting better with every show. I think they're figuring out like how to throw a good show, like how to organize a good show. So that one's getting better. The San Jose Card Show, I've only done maybe 3 times, but every time it's been great. So there's a lot of great collectors in San Jose. So I think that's why the show does so well, because It's near where everyone lives, and everyone just comes, sells their collection, buys with all the tech money they have, or non-tech money. I don't know how you guys make your money, but keep buying. San Jose Car Show, that one's pretty good. The Worlds of Memorabilia, I think it's hosted by Tito. I think the only good show he has is the Westgate show, which is at the Westgate Mall in Saratoga. That I've seen is probably his best show, just because admission is free for all customers, because everyone's going to the mall anyways. You can't really charge them going to the mall. And it used to be 8-foot tables, which was really great, but now it's 6-foot tables, and they kind of increased the price a little bit. So I'm a little iffy about it, but it would probably be my 4th choice out of everything. I basically ranked all the shows for you. It's East Bay, then San Jose, then HypeCon, then Tito's Westgate show. So those are the top 4 shows in the Bay Area. There's also new shows popping up like Throne or like small trade nights. Yeah, those are happening all the time. So if you're a new vendor and you just want to try it out without buying a table, try to sign up for a trade night. There's D-Gen's Collectible, they have trade night. I've done Game Time Hobby Shop, that's a good trade night. There's also like boba trade nights and stuff, but I'm not sure how good that does. But the Game Time Hobby is really good. A lot of people come out there. I had a really good experience at that one. Tofu Trading also has a trade night, but I didn't do that well there, so it doesn't. I'm on the fence about that one. So if you're in the Bay Area, these are golden tips that I wish I knew when I first started. What shows are good, because you don't want to waste your time at bad shows. Because if you waste your time, your time is very valuable, and if you want to increase the value of your business like I do, you want only the best shows. So those are my top 4 shows for the Bay Area if you're a vendor in the Bay Area. And also another tip is, if you're in the Bay Area, go out to Central Valley to buy inventory. Like Tracy has a good show that is also in a mall, that's also free for customers. I think that's hosted by the King of Cards, I think. And their tables are pretty cheap too, so that's a good opportunity. Just bring a fan, because that mall is super hot. I mean, it's in Tracy, so it's always very hot over there. But anyways, what was I talking about? Purpose. Yes, purpose. Know what your purpose is when you're vending, because if you have a goal, then it makes it a little bit easier for you to stay disciplined in reaching your goal. My goal for this year was to hit 100K. And I think this year in January, I was valuing my business at around 28,000, and that was being pretty nice. But now I'm at 73. I think I have maybe a few months left, so I think I might be able to get there, but I need to do some bigger shows. Bigger shows like Collecticon is a big show. Collecticon's a big show. I have 2 East Bay shows lined up, 1 HypeCon show lined up, and I think that's it. Yeah, those are some major shows lined up. If I can squeeze in one more big show, that might be cool. Some of my vendor friends talked about like going out of state. Well, that would be cool, just to buy from like very different regions. That's also another goal of mine, is to go to other states and just see what it's like, see what people are buying, see what people are selling there, because it's different in each region. But the Bay Area is definitely a place where you can buy and sell high-end stuff. LA is also another place where you can buy and sell very high-end stuff. So my goal to reach 100K this year is basically to take in taking a lot of slabs. Singles I think are very liquid, above $50, And basically, if there's low-end slabs, try to move it into higher-end slabs that appreciate in value. Low pop, I'm still learning about low pop right now. Low pop vintage slabs, which are very hard to comp. I'm still learning the process for that and knowing what's good and what's not. The only way you know is to do more shows and to see what people are buying. My friend Matt just picked up a Shining Magikarp in a 10 for $20,000. $20,000 cash. That's crazy. That's crazy. But I strive to get there someday. I strive to get there to do those big deals and not even think twice about it, because those are huge. I think the value for the Magikarp right now is like $25,000. So imagine making a $5,000 flip in one day. Can you imagine? It's pure profit. But in order to do that, you have to start investing in higher end cards. Stop playing around with the little stuff. This is for my vendors that are like maybe a few months in and are starting to getting the rope, starting to understand how to vend and building a customer base and talking to a lot of vendors and just building relationships in general. But I hope you guys got stuff from the video today, learned some stuff. I feel like I've just been rambling, but I think I was able to break it down into two different things: how I started vending, what I used to vend, and for those who are a little more seasoned vendors, basically to make goals and stay focused on your goals. Make a plan on how you're gonna get to the goal. Because if I just make a plan, I want to get to 100K. Okay, how am I gonna do it? You can make any plan that makes sense to you. And if it doesn't work, change your plan. But have a plan. Don't just go in there blind and hope 100K inventory will fall in your lap. No, you gotta work for it. You gotta make relationships. You gotta talk to people. You gotta negotiate better. There's always something new to learn every day. All right, I feel like this is a pep talk. If you're a vendor out there, like this video, comment how long you've been vending, and hopefully this video has been useful. Thanks for tuning in. I'm almost home, so I have to end the video soon. But don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe. Help me build my YouTube account up to 100 followers. I'm currently at 63. I gained 3 new followers since I started, so that's pretty big. I'm really excited. Let's keep building. This is day 7. I'm about to go work out now. So, yeah. See you guys. Thanks for tuning in, and peace.